Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 115 based on novel. So let's start. There was a person in the Hangyu sect called Huanglong, and he was the sect master. The Huanglong of the Hangyu sect was only at the formation establishment stage. Although their appearances are the same, they can't be the same person. Wang Lin silently pondered. However, to have the same name and appearance is too strange, too demonic. No wonder this place is called the East Demon Spirit Sea. The word demon is very fitting for this place. Wang Lin's gaze fell on the black cloud at the corner of the painting. Ouyang Hua stood on the side and respectfully said, "The black cloud in the painting represents the night of demonic spirits. Only by being inside the formation can you be safe. What does the full moon have to do with demonic spirits?" Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. This place is the land of the demonic spirits, so it's natural for there to be days when the demonic spirits come out to hunt, and those days are when the moon is full. Ouyang Hua anxiously looked outside. Right now dusk was about to be over and it was going to be night soon. Tonight is a full moon. Supreme Celestial will be able to see the demonic spirits hunt later. Ouyang Hua withdrew his gaze. Wang Lin's expression remained the same. After pondering for a while, he slowly said, "What was the thing you talked about, the thing that I need and would get at the ancient demon city?" After Ouyang Hua heard this, he hesitated but immediately clenched his teeth and said, "Since Supreme Celestial has asked, then I won't waste time. The land of demonic spirits is simply too big, and rumor has it that there are a total of 9 countries on this land. The country we are in is the Sky Demon Country. To be more exact, this place is part of the Sky Demon Country, but it's a wasteland. After this old man awakened his power in ancient demon city, I could only ever reach 1 star. I was not qualified to stay, so I returned to my tribe as an elder to educate my tribesmen. In the Sky Demon Country, there is the Demon King Kuanshu. Below him are the 8 great demon generals, 10 million demon soldiers, and more than 100 cities. That is the power of one country." Ouyang Hua respectfully said, "As for the thing this old man mentioned, Supreme Celestial, it is a long story. Almost everyone here knows that foreigners appear every 5,000 years. Every time the foreigners arrive, they create a bloodbath. All of these foreigners go to various countries and take up different positions. The more they contribute, the higher their position will be. There are even rumors that one of the 8 great generals of the Sky Demon Country is a foreigner that came countless years ago and never left. After foreigners enter, they go through a mysterious change. They often kill each other as if doing so would benefit them. This point is something this old man doesn't understand. Since Supreme Celestial is a foreigner, I believe you understand this more than me." Wang Lin slightly frowned. He seemed to understand but wasn't exactly sure. After pondering for a bit, he slowly said, "You still haven't told me what the thing I want is." Ouyang Hua's body stiffened and he silently pondered. Wang Lin quietly waited. His gaze was still on the painting. Shortly after, Ouyang Hua let out a sigh and said, "Supreme Celestial, I won't lie to you. Although this place has the thing you need, it is simply too important. If you take it by force, then everyone inside the valley will die one by one." Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, his gaze left the painting and moved to Ouyang Hua. Ouyang Hua looked at Wang Lin and their gazes met. After a while, Ouyang Hua gradually lowered his head, but then he suddenly raised it and said, "However, if Supreme Celestial still has pills like before, then it would be fine for this old man to give you the thing you need." Wang Lin's right hand touched his bag of holding and jade bottles came out one by one. These jade bottles gave off bursts of white light, and there was no less than a dozen bottles. After flying a circle in the air, the jade bottles returned to the bag of holding. Ouyang Hua's eyes followed those jade bottles as they circled in the air. It wasn't until they returned to the bag of holding that he withdrew his gaze. After swallowing hard, he took a deep breath and said, "The pills that you foreigners bring have always been important treasures here because we don't have any materials to refine pills. Follow me, Supreme Celestial, I'll take you to see the thing you need." Ouyang Hua looked like he had made a great decision as he clasped his hands and led the way. Wang Lin casually followed him out of the house without a word. Although the sky had darkened, there was a bonfire lighting the valley up. The men of the valley were sitting next to the flickering fire and would occasionally laugh out loud. As for the women, they were sitting near their men with their children in their arms. They listened to their men talk and revealed smiles of satisfaction. The entire valley was filled with an aura of peace and safety. This aura gave off a very warm feeling that spread across the area. When Ouyang Hua and Wang Lin appeared, it caused everyone in the valley to become silent. That warm feeling that Wang Lin just felt immediately disappeared. All of the women held onto their children tightly as they nervously looked at Wang Lin. However, not all of the people in the valley looked at Wang Lin with caution. There were some that looked at him with gratitude in their eyes. Ouyang Hua's steps didn't stop as he passed the fire and walked into the depths of the valley. Wang Lin followed Ouyang Hua at a pace that wasn't fast nor slow. When he passed by the fire, all of the villagers made way for him. When one of the women was fleeing, she didn't hold onto her child tightly enough, so the child fell. She wanted to pick her child up, but her face turned pale when she saw that Wang Lin had already arrived. As for the child, he picked himself up. He seemed to not notice his mother's anxious gaze and looked curiously at Wang Lin. When Wang Lin walked past the child, he stopped for a moment and lowered his head to look at him. This child looked very stout and honest. When looking at him, Wang Lin couldn't help but think of Da Neo's childhood. Wang Lin let out a smile as he rubbed the child's head and walked past him. After Wang Lin left, the child's mother quickly rushed forward and grabbed the child before quickly retreating. From a distance, there were sounds of scolding. It wasn't until Wang Lin had left for a long time that the warm feeling around the fire returned. Ouyang Hua quickly led Wang Lin into the depths of the valley. This area was shaped like a gourd and the entrance was the valley. Ouyang Hua currently was standing at the base of the gourd. There weren't many trees here, and there were many strange plants growing on the ground. Stepping on the ground would create rustling sounds and give off a very soft feeling. Supreme Celestial, please look. Ouyang Hua stopped moving and pointed forward. Wang Lin's divine sense spread out, and he immediately showed a look of understanding. His gaze fell on a cliff in the depths of the valley. This cliff was completely cyan, and when compared to the other cliffs, it immediately felt very different. However, this wasn't what caught Wang Lin's attention. What caught his attention was the white, crystal-like object at the center of the cliff. This crystal was diamond-shaped and was hanging off the cliff. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a pondering light. Earlier, when he spread out his divine sense to sweep the area, he found nothing. However, now he that was up close and was able to see it, he was able to gain some insight. There were celestial spiritual energy fluctuations coming from the white crystal, but after taking a closer look, Wang Lin had another strange idea. This isn't celestial spiritual energy. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a mysterious light as he stepped forward, pointed at the crystal, and tried to sense it from a distance. His origin soul extended from his finger to feel the energy from the white crystal. His expression suddenly changed before he withdrew his right finger and began to ponder. Ouyang Hua softly said, "Supreme Celestial, this is the thing the ancestor said you foreigners must have. You guys call it crystallized celestial spiritual energy, but we call it demon spirit crystal. The role of the demon spirit crystal is to help the tribesmen recover from injuries. This is why I said that if I give you this, all of the tribe members will die one by one. However, the quality of this demon spirit crystal is low, so its healing ability isn't great. Compared to your pills, I'd rather use those." Wang Lin didn't say anything as he raised his hand once more and reached out. A rumbling sound immediately came from the cliff. At first it was soft, but soon it grew louder. Thunderous roars came from the cliff and were immediately noticed by the people inside the valley. Aside from that, the thunderous roar seemed to cause the surrounding cliffs to shake as if there was an earth dragon moving around underneath them. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his right hand pulled viciously. After a few cracking sounds, the white crystal broke free from the cliff and landed in his hand. At the moment he touched the white crystal, Wang Lin immediately felt a cold aura come out from it. This aura directly entered his body through his right arm. This white aura didn't travel through his meridians but moved along his bones. After quickly cycling once through Wang Lin's body, the aura gathered at his dantian. It slowly condensed into a rice grain-sized crystal that gave off an white aura as it slowly turned, making it look like a nebula. This white aura looked like celestial spiritual energy, but in truth, it was very different from it. Celestial spiritual energy was gentle, while this energy was gentle but contained a powerful demonic aura. After absorbing this demonic energy, Wang Lin's entire body went through a very noticeable change. There was a demonic flame flickering in his eyes. His clothes moved without any wind, and slivers of demonic aura diffused into the air. When Ouyang saw all of this, he couldn't help but be shocked. He sucked in a breath of cold air as he took a few steps back and muttered to himself, "Rumor has it that the first time a foreigner comes into contact with a demon spirit crystal, there is a change in the demonic energy in their body." The demonic force that the demon spirit crystal left inside his body made him feel very comfortable. This feeling was very intoxicating. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed and the demonic flames in his eyes disappeared, then the demonic aura around him disappeared as well, as if nothing abnormal had happened. This celestial spiritual energy filled with demonic energy is too strange. After absorbing this energy, it formed its own area. I can faintly feel that this aura should be able to be combined with celestial spiritual energy and thus increase one's cultivation. However, right now this demonic energy is too small and impossible to test. Wang Lin pondered for a moment before touching his bag of holding. More than a dozen bottles flew out and landed at Ouyang feet. Ouyang trembled, then he checked each bottle before putting them away. He was currently very excited. "You can leave. I'll need to cultivate here. When tomorrow arrives, I'll leave by myself," said Wang Lin calmly. He then no longer bothered with Ouyang as he began to feel the demonic spirit crystal that had formed inside his body. Ouyang quickly nodded, then he respectfully clasped his hands at Wang Lin before leaving. Soon, this place became silent, but occasionally there would be laughter coming from the fire in the distance. Wang Lin's entire focus was on his dantian. He was feeling the demonic spirit crystal. If I have a lot of these, even if I can't fuse them with celestial spiritual energy, they will still become another force. There are at least 1,000 cultivators that came in, and I believe everyone's goal is this demonic spirit crystal. The killing between cultivators is probably to steal the demonic spirit crystals inside each other. I just don't know what other effects this demonic spirit crystal has. This demonic energy must have other uses, or else there is no way it could have caused so much bloodshed over the countless years. I'm afraid there are still secrets I don't know hidden within it. Only when I solve all of these mysteries can I decide my future direction. 500 years is not long, but it is not short either. However, if absorbing more demonic spirit crystals can help increase my cultivation, then I might as well just let myself loose and go in a killing spree like back in the Sea of Devils. A flash of cold light appeared in Wang Lin's eyes, and he licked his lips. Time slowly passed and it was now late at night. Although the fire was still going, most of the villagers had returned to their homes. Only the women and children went to rest, while all the male grabbed various weapons and gathered at the entrance of the valley. Ouyang was among them. His eyes were very serious as he stared outside the valley. Shortly after, he turned around to look at the good-shaped area deep within the valley. That was where Wang Lin was cultivating. I hope this formation can hold against the demonic spirits. I wish that Supreme Celestial would lend a hand. Ouyang let out a sigh. The reason he invited Wang Lin into the valley aside from the fact that he couldn't stop him was because the formation had been severely weakened. He wasn't sure if the formation could still hold, which was why he did all he could to make Wang Lin stay. He even told Wang Lin a lot of secrets and was even willing to exchange the demonic spirit crystal, which was the heart of their village. Ouyang had a reason for doing all of this, and that was when the village was facing danger, Wang Lin would lend a hand. He looked at the villagers around him before letting out a sigh and saying, "I don't need to say what needs to be done on the night of demon spirits. If we can hold out for the night, then everything will be safe." Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes while cultivating and raised his head to look up into the sky. Although the sky was still completely dark, to Wang Lin, there were changes. Inside this darkness was a purple aura, and there were bursts of demonic energy with varying strength spreading across the horizon. This valley wasn't its target, only a place it was passing by. While staring at the sky, Wang Lin revealed a determined expression. He pressed his hand on his forehead and his origin soul left his body. He then flew out of the valley, past the formation, and went directly into the sky. The origin soul didn't stop as it charged toward the direction where the surge of demonic energy was coming from. The closer he got, the stronger the pressure from the demonic energy became. The scope of this demonic energy was simply too large, so it was impossible to see where it ended. Along the way, all of the land that the demonic energy passed by would be left barren and the animals would let out miserable groans before turning to white skeletons. Upon seeing all of this, Wang Lin frowned slightly. At this moment, if one looked at the demonic spirit land from above, they would see a purple aura spreading out from a central location. The range of this was too large, and that is large when compared to the entire demonic spirit land. Wang Lin's sliver of origin soul quickly retreated after checking. However, at this moment, his origin soul suddenly stopped, and he spread out his divine sense and pierced deep into the demonic energy wave. He saw that in the depths of this demonic energy wave, beside the endless waves of demonic energy, there was a person. This person was wearing a black robe, had a cold complexion, thin lips, and overall looked very vicious. Right now he had a black sword in his hand, and as he swung his sword, there was a strange, purple aura surrounding it. At the same time, this person was madly absorbing a large amount of demonic energy. At the moment Wang Lin's divine senses swept by, the man slowly raised his head and looked toward Wang Lin before revealing an extremely cold smile. Your cultivation isn't bad to be able to find my existence. I originally wanted to surprise you. The black-robed man pointed his sword and said, meeting me was your misfortune. Even if you hand over your demonic spirit crystal, it is pointless. You are my prey. Wang Lin's origin soul coldly looked at the person and then flew back without a word. The black-robed man didn't stop but revealed a smile of contempt. A mere mid-stage soul transformation cultivator. No matter what sect you are from, you will die today for sure. After absorbing his demonic spirit crystal, I should barely meet the requirement to enter the Sky Demon City. A hint of fervor appeared in his eyes. Inside the valley, Wang Lin's origin soul returned and his eyes turned cold. He is the first planet Chen Yun cultivator I met here. He is at the peak of the late stage of soul transformation, but it will not be so easy if he wishes to kill me. Outside the valley, the demonic energy wave surged forth like a tidal wave toward the valley. The formation around the valley immediately lit up, it seemed to be holding off the pressure of the demonic energy. But the pressure of the demonic energy didn't only hit once, it lasted for a while. The light around the valley began to flicker and show signs of not being able to withstand it much longer. Although it was still quiet inside the valley, there was tension in the air. All of the adult males were standing at the entrance to the valley and clenching their weapons. Sweat covered their palms, and as they stared attentively at the entrance to the valley, their breathing became rough. Ouyang Hua was standing before everyone. He had his hand raised and was chanting a complex language to maintain the formation. The Night of Demon Spirits happened every 3 months, and with how long Ouyang Hua has been around, he was usually confident in the formation, but today he was very uneasy. The formation had been weakened greatly by Wang Lin, so he had no idea if it would be able to hold against tonight's demon spirits. Once the formation breaks, all life inside the valley will be devoured by the demon spirits hiding inside the demonic energy. As waves of demonic energy hit the formation seemed to not be able to hold out much longer, and there were even cracks appearing on it. Just at this moment, a loud rumble could be heard. This was clearly from someone smashing into the formation, which caused more cracks to appear. The people inside the valley could clearly feel the power of the collision. Many women and children were awakened by the shock. Far away from the valley, the man in the black robe waved his sword and splattered blood everywhere. A completely black beast that was about 1 meter long and had a single horn had appeared. At almost the instant it appeared, it was cut in half by the black-robed man. After killing the beast, the black-robed man took one breath and a strand of demonic energy came from the body of the mysterious beast and entered his body. A very comfortable feeling immediately filled his body. Shortly after, his eyes lit up and stared at the valley in the distance. He revealed a cruel smile as he waved his sword and threw it toward the valley. The black-robed man's body floated into the air, then he landed on the sword and charged directly toward the valley. Inside the valley, Wang Lin stood up, took a step, and turned into a cloud of green smoke before reappearing in front of Ouyang Hua and company. His appearance was completely silent. This caused the expressions of all the villagers to change greatly, and they unconsciously stepped back. Ouyang Hua revealed a joyous expression and he quickly said, "Supreme Celestial, save us." Just as he finished speaking, the sword flew in from the distance along with the black-robed man's cold voice. The hunt begins. Wang Lin's expression remained the same, but Ouyang Hua revealed a look of terror and bitterness that he had never shown before. "I'm going to witness a battle between two foreigners." Just at this moment, a ray of sword energy flashed by, causing the formation to tremble and a large amount of cracks to appear on it. Wang Lin sneered and slapped his bag of holding. With one shake, the restriction flag turned into strands of restriction gas that rushed into the formation and zoomed along the cracks. The cracks in the formation recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye, and with the addition of the restriction flag, the power of the formation increased several-fold. After doing all of this, Wang Lin took one step and then completely disappeared. When he reappeared, he was outside the valley. The black-robed man coldly looked at Wang Lin from 100 feet away. There were strands of purple gas moving around each of them like ghosts. Wang Lin's right hand pointed at the air and a demonic spirit beast suddenly let out a miserable scream and disappeared. The black-robed man carefully studied Wang Lin and his eyes narrowed. The arrogance from before was gone, and now he hesitated and asked, "What sect does your excellency belong to?" 3 strands of grey gas moved between Wang Lin's fingers, creating a howling sound. He stared coldly at the man in black robes and said, "What's with all this nonsense? If you're not going to battle, then leave immediately." The black-robed man laughed in anger and said, "What an arrogant person. If it wasn't for the fact that you look familiar and I don't want to hurt a friend or someone I know, why would I even talk to you? Since you want to die, I'll grant your wish." Wang Lin didn't even bother to talk to this person. As the person was talking, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and the celestial sword appeared. He then took one step and slashed with the celestial sword. A ray of sword energy several feet tall flew out and descended upon the man like lightning. At the same time, the half-moon blade closely followed behind like a bolt of lightning. When the black-robed man saw the sword energy, he immediately backed up and shouted, "So it is a fellow cultivator from the Dae sword sect. You know the rules here. Hand over the crystal and I won't hurt you." As the sword energy closed in, the black-robed man raised his sword to block it. He was knocked back several feet, but the sword energy quickly collapsed. However, at the moment the sword energy collapsed, a cracking sound came from the sword in his hand and a crack appeared on it. When the black-robed man looked at the cracked flying sword in his hand, his eyes became extremely cold. "You dare to damage my flying sword? Today, even if you are a member of the Dae sword sect, you will die." His hand formed a seal and a black flame appeared in his palm. The man shouted, "Earth-extinguishing flame, burn him to nothing." He then pointed forward and the black flame flew forward. While in the air, the flame scattered into countless smaller flames and rained down on Wang Lin. As soon as the black flame rained down, there was a flash of ghostly light. This light caused the black-robed man's expression to change greatly and forced his body back 3 inches. However, he was too late. He suddenly saw blood spew out from the right side of his chest, then he revealed a look of disbelief as he quickly backed up while taking out some pills and swallowing them. The half-moon blade appeared next to the celestial sword in a flash. There was still some blood on the blade. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. The cultivation of the person before him was indeed powerful. It has to be said that the half-moon blade is extremely fast, and even if Wang Lin himself were to face it, it would be hard to avoid disaster if he wasn't prepared ahead of time. Yet this person was able to force himself to move 3 inches at the critical moment to avoid fatal injury. That meant that his divine sense was much more powerful than Wang Lin's and was able to detect the trajectory of the half-moon blade. A hint of killing intent appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. Since this person's cultivation was stronger, then he must be killed now. If he is allowed to escape, recover, and learn Wang Lin's attacks. Then when he comes back, Wang Lin won't be able to resist. Taking advantage of the moment that his enemy was injured due to the surprise attack of the half-moon blade, he charged out. Wang Lin completely ignored the flames in the sky as he charged forth like lightning and pressed his thumb down on the void. Finger of death. The black-robed man pressed his hand on his chest and the injury immediately healed. His face was pale as he viciously stared at Wang Lin. He shook the sword in his hand and said, "Sword scatter." With one shout, the sword shattered into tiny pieces before him and then charged toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, but he didn't dodge. 2 of the 3 strands of grey gas that were moving between his fingers disappeared. They moved along his arm and appeared on his forehead. 2 symbols suddenly appeared on his forehead. Life Force Seal. The moment the symbol appeared, it quickly spread across his body. 1 symbol created 1 layer and 2 symbols created 2 layers. At this moment, those shattered pieces of sword had arrived and the flames from the sky descended, covering Wang Lin in attacks. At this moment, Wang Lin had the shattered sword pieces charging at him and the flames coming in from above. As the flames descended from the sky, they turned into 2 flame dragons. They moved around and roared just like real dragons as they charged toward him. The sound quickly entered Wang Lin's ears, causing his origin soul to shake. The dragons came at him growling and roaring, attempting to devour him. There was an earth-shattering bang that could be heard within 5,000 kilometers. It was so powerful that even the sky changed colors and countless cracks appeared on the earth. Countless ripples of spell fluctuations at the center of the explosion spread out in a massive shockwave. Even those waves of demonic energy were pushed back far until it finally calmed down. Shortly after, the demonic energy waves charged back like an army of galloping horses to once more cover the area. The black-robed man was standing inside this shock wave. Not only did he not show any signs of joy, but his eyes became very serious. He took a deep breath, quickly backed up several dozen feet, his hands began to form seals, and he stared dead on at the spot where the explosion took place, not even blinking once. The area of the explosion became dark as the demonic energy charged back in, but inside this darkness, a figure slowly walked out step by step. The figure's clothes flapped in the air without any wind, and there were sounds of howling coming from his right arm. If one looked closely, they would see something like a small snake moving between his fingers. As the figure slowly walked out, the expression of the black-robed man not far away darkened even more. The speed at which he formed his seals became even faster, and he also spat out some chants. As for the figure, after it walked a few steps, the demonic energy around him was split in half as if there was someone forcing them apart. At the moment the demonic energy split apart, the figure took 1 step and disappeared without a trace. Not good. The black-robed man didn't hesitate and quickly backed up. Just as he backed up, there was flash of silver light and a black thumb pressed down on where he was. All of this happened really fast, it wouldn't be wrong to say it happened in an instant. What quickly followed the thumb was the figure. He raised his head and looked at the black-robed man who had retreated far away. "You won't be able to dodge the next one. You aren't a member of the Da Lu Sword Sect. You are the new disciple of the All-Seer, the Purple Division's 7th disciple, Wang Lin," the black-robed man coldly said. "What you used is probably the forbidden spell Finger of Death that made you famous during the birthday celebration." The black-robed man was very annoyed at the moment. He had heard about Wang Lin and had even seen what he looked from a piece of jade. After all, the disciples of the All-Seer were people that everyone on planet Chen paid attention to. Especially Wang Lin, whose sudden appearance shocked everyone. If it wasn't for the 6th disciple suddenly returning and beating Wang Lin due to having ascendant-level cultivation, then the title of true disciple would have belonged to him. How could people not pay attention to this kind of person? Also, the forbidden spell he used was very strange, it specialized in attacking people who were stronger. With that, how could people not pay extra attention to him? The black-robed man secretly sighed in his heart. If he had known Wang Lin's identity earlier, he wouldn't have acted so carelessly. Even though his opponent was at the mid-stage of soul transformation, he couldn't underestimate a disciple of the All-Seer. Although this Wang Lin had lost against an ascendant cultivator, he showed that he had very powerful attacks. Also, his various treasures caught the attention of many people. Even if the black-robed man could win, it would be very difficult to kill Wang Lin. After all, everyone on planet Tianyun knew that each of the All-Seer's disciples had a life-saving treasure. As long as the cultivation difference wasn't too great, it meant an extra life. The black-robed man secretly cursed and quickly backed up. He had no confidence in beating the person before him, so rather than wasting time, it'd be best to leave as soon as possible. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. At the moment the sword fragment and flames arrived, he used 2 layers of life force seals to block the power of both spells. After all, the black-robed man was a powerful cultivator at the peak of the late stage of soul transformation. However, the amount of celestial spiritual energy the man in black robes controlled was not something Wang Lin could compete with. So although Wang Lin stopped the attack, one of the life force seals had collapsed and disappeared forever. The life force seals were Wang Lin's insurance for the future. He spent all that effort to barely make 3, and now one of them was destroyed by the black-robed man. Although Wang Lin's heart ached for its loss, he was also filled with killing intent. Seeing that the enemy was not going to fight and going to retreat, Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he quickly chased after the man in black robes. He touched his bag of holding and the soul lasher immediately appeared in his hand. As he chased, he suddenly waved the whip. The black-robed man's face was gloomy as he suddenly turned around to try to grab the whip and shouted, "Ungrateful brat. Fine, today I'll teach you a lesson in place of your master." At the moment his hand reached toward the whip, 5 red points appeared on his fingers. The 5 red points seemed to move as his hand moved, creating a very mysterious feeling. At this moment, if one looked from a distance, the black-robed man's right hand wasn't moving but rather the 5 red points were. Then his right hand moved as fast as lightning and directly grabbed the soul lasher, which was flying over at a crazy speed. At the moment he grabbed the whip, the 5 red points on his fingers glowed brightly. Then the 5 points of light connected together to form a 5-star seal. The black-robed man shouted, "Restrict." Wang Lin sneered. He wasn't worried about the soul lasher at all, so he took a step and teleported toward the black-robed man instead of withdrawing the whip. At almost the moment Wang Lin teleported, the black-robed man's hand touched the soul lasher. Just as the black-robed man finished shouting, a ray of black light appeared at the tip of the whip and quickly spread across the whole whip. At the same time, the black light spread across the black-robed man's arm, and he let out a miserable groan. There was a sizzling sound coming from his arm, and even strands of white gas were coming off of it. The black-robed man quickly withdrew his hand and his eyes were filled with shock. He knew in his heart that his 5-blood seal was considered a top-quality seal, and it was used especially for sealing an enemy's treasure. In all his years of cultivating, he had used it against countless cultivators and it never failed. This was the first time it failed. At the moment he let go, all of the battle intent in his body disappeared. Just as he was about to retreat, the soul lasher flew out at a weird angle toward him. With a loud, whipping sound, the soul lasher hit his back as he was retreating. With one strike, his face immediately turned pale and his eyes revealed a never-before-seen mysterious light. A treasure that specializes in damaging the origin soul. The black-robed man took a deep breath. His feet didn't stop at all as he continued to escape. However, at this moment, the space around him bent and Wang Lin caught up. The black-robed man's eyes lit up and he let out a cold snort as he spat out a cloud of black smoke. After the black smoke appeared, it quickly surrounded Wang Lin. After doing this, the black-robed man didn't pause as he quickly moved through the incoming waves of demonic spiritual energy and disappeared without a trace. Just as Wang Lin appeared, he was surrounded by the black cloud that the black-robed man spat out. This black cloud was a very powerful poison, and he immediately felt a sharp pain when he spread out his divine sense. Without any hesitation, his hand formed a seal and he said, "Wind." With one word, a gust of wind flew through the black cloud, creating an opening. Just as the opening appeared, it began to close, but Wang Lin's body turned into a cloud of green smoke and escaped. After he reappeared, he dreaded the black-robed man even more. This black-robed man obviously had a lot of spells and treasures that he hadn't used. The reason he left was because he was shocked by Wang Lin's fame. He had probably heard about how Wang Lin had fought and lost to an ascendant cultivator but still had countless treasures to use. Although I don't know what sect he is from, for him to be here must mean he's from planet Tianyun and knows that all disciples of the All-Seer have a life-saving treasure. This matter is not a secret, and with his mental prowess, he probably considered it a ton of times. He probably realized that killing me wouldn't be easy, so he decided to retreat. I can't allow that person to live. Wang Lin's eyes became cold, and he quickly chased after the black-robed man. The two have moved one behind the other through the waves of demonic spiritual energy. The deeper one goes into the waves of demonic spiritual energy, the stronger the demon spirits become. They can take many different forms, but the one thing that never changes is that they all have horns on their heads. There were great differences in the power of these demon spirits. It depended on the amount of horns on their heads. Wang Lin and the black-robed man's location wasn't at the center of the demonic spiritual energy anymore, they were at the edge now. Here, the demon spirits were very weak, and that's why the black-robed man was able to survive and absorb demonic spiritual energy. As the two of them charged through the wave of demonic spiritual energy, many demon spirits popped out. However, they were all very weak and were destroyed by the two of them with just a simple wave of their hands. Every time a demon spirit died, a strand of demonic spiritual energy was absorbed by the person that killed it. As the black-robed man escaped, he frowned very hard. His body suddenly twisted to the side as if it had no bones, and just at this moment, a ray of black light scraped by his body. The black-robed man let out a cold snort as his body returned to normal. He then spread out his divine sense and found that Wang Lin was still chasing after him. Ungrateful bastard. This Wang Lin is stuck to me like bone marrow sticks to bone. So troublesome, especially that half-moon blade, it is simply too fast. If it wasn't for the fact that I came prepared, I would definitely suffer from it. If it wasn't for the fact that he has a treasure protecting him, I would kill him no matter what sect he was from and absorb his demonic spirit crystal. The black-robed man's expression was gloomy as he let out a cold snort. Then his hand began to form seals and a wave of demonic spiritual energy began to spread as if it didn't dare to get closer to him. There were now stands of black smoke coming from his hands, and they circled around both of his hands. He took a deep breath and suddenly pressed them on his chest. At the moment his hands touched his chest, those strands of black smoke quickly entered his body. The black-robed man revealed a painful expression and his eyes became bloodshot. At this moment, he looked very terrifying and as if he was enduring a lot of pain. As the black smoke continued to enter his body, he finally wasn't able to withstand it and began to roar madly into the sky. His voice shook the heavens, and a wave of demonic spiritual energy was pressured back by the roar. If one were to look from above, they would see that there was no demonic spiritual energy within 1,000 feet of him. The demonic spiritual energy that moved like an army of more than 10,000 galloping horses was forced back, creating this 1,000-foot wide dead zone. At this moment, Wang Lin caught up. He stopped 1,000 feet away and coldly looked at the man in black robes. The black-robed man was standing at the center. He suddenly raised his head as he stared at Wang Lin and slowly said, "You are courting death." With that, he raised his left hand and pointed at Wang Lin. Strands of black gas started coming out from his left hand like tentacles. "Forbidden devil, the fourth heavenly ghost, appear." With that, his painful expression intensified, his eyes became even more bloodshot, and veins began to bulge on his body. The bulging moved all over his body, making it look very strange. It was as if there was an endless, mysterious force coming out of his chest and from his right arm into his left arm. The black tentacles began to move rapidly until they formed a ghostly figure. After this ghostly figure appeared, it let out a roar, but there was no sound. However, his roar caused the demonic spiritual energy to back up several dozen feet more. Wang Lin quickly backed up. Although he couldn't hear the sound with his ears, he could hear that roar that was trying to tear the heavens apart with his origin soul. The black-robed man shouted, "Release!" Although it was just one word, his voice was trembling. This showed just how much pain he was experiencing. With just one word, the ghostly figure spread out from the black-robed man's arm. The ghostly figure's eyes released a ghostly light as it stared at Wang Lin. It then let out a grin before charging toward him. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and with one thought, the celestial sword flew out before him. With a slash, the celestial sword sent out a wave of sword energy. However, the ghostly figure opened its mouth and devoured the sword energy. As for the half-moon blade, it charged through the ghostly figure without doing any damage. When it tried to attack the black-robed man, the black tentacles intertwined, forming a thick layer of protection that prevented the half-moon blade from flying inside. This video will end here.